Your Jeep Wrangler could be wasting way more gas than you think, and most owners never notice it happening. The crazy part? Some of the best fuel-saving upgrades cost under $50 and take less than 10 minutes to install. Today, I'm showing you the cheap Wrangler fixes that real owners tested and actually saw MPG gains from. And one of these can secretly kill 3 to 4 MPG all by itself. Number 10. The free tire trick. This one costs $0, takes about 5 minutes, and 9 out of 10 Wrangler owners walk past it every single morning. Your tire pressure is the silent fuel thief. I know what you're thinking. Tire pressure sounds boring. Stay with me because the math will mess with your head. The U.S. Department of Energy tested this on a dyno at Oak Ridge National Lab. The numbers are brutal. For every single PSI low across all 4 tires, you lose 0.2% of your gas mileage. Drop 10 PSI, lose 2%. Run them at half pressure like trail guys do after airing down. You burn 5 to 10% more gas every single mile. But the trap goes deeper. Tires lose around 3.5 PSI per year just sitting in your driveway. Cold mornings strip another 1 PSI for every 10 degrees the temperature drops. So your Wrangler that you checked last spring is probably running soft on all 4 corners right now, and you can't feel anything from the driver's seat. The fix takes 5 minutes. Open the driver's door and find the white sticker. That number is your true recommended PSI, not the maximum number printed on your tire sidewall. Grab a $5 pencil gauge from any gas station. Check all 4 tires cold before you drive anywhere. Top them up to the door sticker number, and you're finished. But topping off air won't fix the filthy filter that's been quietly choking your engine for the last 30,000 miles. Number 9. The crusty air filter. Pop your airbox open right now. 6 clips, no tools, 60 seconds. If you've got more than 30,000 miles on the factory filter and you've never touched it, you're about to see something nasty. You'll find bug carcasses, gray dust caked into the pleats, maybe a leaf, maybe a dead spider. The thing looks like a vacuum bag from 1998. Modern Wrangler computers are smart, though. The Pentastar's ECU compensates for some restricted airflow, so a dirty filter won't tank your gas mileage like it would on an old carbureted truck. But you still lose 1 to 2 miles per gallon over time, and your throttle response goes from sharp to mushy. Wrangler forum owners report exactly that bump back when they swap a neglected filter at 60,000 miles. The fix is $20. A factory Mopar paper filter runs about $20 at any auto parts store. Drop it in, and you're back in business. Now, K&N filters get debated like religion in Jeep forums. Some owners swear they pulled a solid 1 to 2 miles per gallon gain after switching. Others say it's a straight placebo. Blackstone Labs oil analysis shows paper filters protect the engine slightly better from dust, especially if you off-road in dry country. So if you live anywhere dusty, stick with paper. If you mostly drive highway, a $50 K&N earns its money back over the truck's life because it's reusable. That gray, crusty filter sitting in your airbox is quietly costing you fuel. But fresh air can't help your Jeep if a tiny sensor on the back of the manifold is feeding wild lies to your engine computer every single second. Number 8. The sensor that lies. This is the one almost nobody knows about, and it might be the single biggest fuel economy fix on this entire list. Your gasoline Wrangler does not use a MAF sensor like a Ford. The 3.6 Pentastar runs a MAP sensor instead, short for Manifold Absolute Pressure, sitting on the back of the intake manifold near the airbox and held on by 2 Torx screws. That sensor's only job is reading the pressure inside your intake and telling the engine computer exactly how much fuel to inject. When it gets coated with oil mist and gunk from the PCV system, it reads low. The computer thinks the engine is loaded harder than it actually is, so it dumps extra fuel into every cylinder. Wrangler forum owners report pulling MAP sensors off Pentastars at 50,000 miles that look like a blob of black tar. The Jeep was burning extra fuel for over a year, and the dashboard never said a word. Buy 1 can of CRC MAP sensor cleaner for about $8. Not throttle body cleaner, not brake cleaner, not carb cleaner. MAP specific spray, because anything else will eat the sensor's coating and you'll be replacing the whole thing. Disconnect the negative battery cable, unplug the sensor, and remove the 2 Torx screws. Pull it out, spray the sensing element gently with about a dozen short bursts without scrubbing. Air dry for 10 minutes, reinstall, reconnect, and idle for 10 minutes so the computer relearns its baseline. 20 minutes and $8 gets your engine reading reality again instead of fiction. But while you've got the airbox apart, look down. There's a black butterfly valve sitting right there with a carbon ring around it that's restricting airflow even harder. Number 7. The throttle body choke. The throttle body is the butterfly valve that controls how much air actually reaches your engine. On any Wrangler with 50,000 miles or more, that valve and the bore around it are coated in a sticky black ring of carbon and burnt oil residue. The dirtier it gets, the rougher your Jeep idles. Hesitation when you punch the gas, surging at stoplights, the whole package. Some folks chase that problem at the dealer for $500 when the real fix is $10. A guy on the JK Owners Forum cleaned his throttle body and watched his MPG gauge climb steadily over the next 150 miles. Another owner with a 3.6 Renegade saw a 2 to 3 miles per gallon bump after combining throttle body cleaning with intake decarbonization. Same engine family, same fix, same result. You'll need a 10mm socket, an 8mm socket, an E10 reverse torque socket, and a can of CRC throttle body cleaner. Total parts cost is about $10 if you don't already own the sockets. Disconnect the negative battery terminal, pop the intake tube clamp, and unclip the throttle body harness. Spray cleaner directly on the butterfly plate and wipe it down with a clean, lint-free rag. Move the plate gently with your finger to clean the backside too. The rag will come out solid black every single time. When you reinstall, torque the 4 bolts in a crisscross pattern to 65 inch-pounds. That's the factory spec, and over-tightening will warp the throttle body. But the dirty throttle body is just a symptom. The real villain forcing all that gunk through your intake is hiding way deeper in your engine, and most Pentastar owners never replace it. Quick side note, if you actually want your Wrangler to last long-term and avoid the expensive mistakes that destroy these engines early, check out my ebook, The 500,000-Mile Jeep Blueprint. It's packed with the maintenance habits, fixes, and owner tricks that can save you thousands over the life of your Jeep. The link is in the description below. Number 6. The PCV Killer. This is the dirty secret of the 3.6 Pentastar that Mishimoto's engineers proved on a dyno. Your engine has a PCV system, short for positive crankcase ventilation. It pulls oily vapor out of the crankcase and routes it back into the intake to burn. On the Pentastar specifically, that vapor contains way more oil than engineers ever expected in long-term, real-world driving. UPR ran a controlled test on a 2021 JL with a brand new 3.6 and collected 2.2 ounces of straight oil in their catch can after just 1,800 miles. That oil isn't disappearing. It's coating your throttle body, dirtying your map sensor, baking onto your intake walls, and quietly choking the same engine you just spent money cleaning. A Mopar OEM replacement PCV valve runs $15 to $25. The valve sits at the back of the right cylinder head, and yeah, it's a pain to reach on a Wrangler. Plan for an hour with the engine cold, wear nitrile gloves because this gets messy, and grab a fresh PCV hose while you're at it. The updated part numbers are 680-832-02AC for the valve and 681-05-838-AB for the hose. A stuck-closed PCV builds crankcase pressure and pushes oil out through your air filter housing. A stuck-open PCV dumps even more oil into your intake. Either way, you burn more fuel and your carbon problems multiply fast. If your Wrangler has more than 60,000 miles and the PCV has never been touched, this single $20 part is probably the biggest hidden tax on your gas mileage. But fixing engine internals won't help if your gas is leaving deposits faster than the parts can clean themselves. Number 5. The fuel switch. Not all gasoline is the same. That cheap discount station saving you 10 cents a gallon? It might be costing you a full mile per gallon. Tier 1 certified fuel contains a stronger detergent package than discount gas. The brands are public and easy to remember. Shell, Chevron, Exxon, Mobil, Costco, BP, and a handful of others all qualify. The detergents in Tier 1 gas actually scrub carbon off your injectors and intake valves while you drive. Cheap discount gas meets the legal minimum and not much more, which is why injectors get gunky way faster on the cheap stuff. The price difference is about 5 to 10 cents per gallon. Over a 20-gallon Wrangler tank, that's $1 or $2 extra per fill-up to keep your fuel system actually clean. That's not a tough call. Now the real magic moves. Twice a year, Dump one full bottle of Chevron Techron Concentrate Plus into a near-empty tank and fill up. A bottle runs about $9 at any auto parts store. Techron is the same detergent Chevron uses in their Tier 1 fuel, just at way higher concentration. It strips carbon off intake valves, cleans injectors, and resets your fuel system. What folks don't realize is this. Mechanics on multiple Jeep forums say injectors on modern fuel-injected engines almost never fail mechanically. They get clogged. A clogged injector sprays a bad pattern, combustion goes uneven, and your computer adds fuel to compensate. One Pentastar owner reported his MPG climbed almost a full mile per gallon after running 2 consecutive tanks of Techron through a Jeep with 90,000 miles on it. But fresh fuel can't save you if the oil sloshing around inside your engine is the wrong viscosity for the Pentastar. Number 4. The wrong motor oil. Nobody talks about this one, but it costs you miles per gallon every single tank. The Department of Energy has direct data on this. Using the wrong grade of motor oil can cost you 1 to 2% of your fuel economy. That sounds small at first. Run the math on a Wrangler getting 18 miles per gallon, and you're losing almost half a mile per gallon, every gallon, forever. The 3.6 Pentastar in 2012 through 2017 Wranglers calls for 5W20. The 2018 and newer JL Wranglers with the 3.6 call for 0W20. The Hemi 392 Wranglers run 0W40. Drop a heavier oil into the wrong engine, like 5W30 and a 5W20 motor, and the engine works harder, pumping thicker oil through tight bearings on cold starts. That wasted energy is gas you'll never get back. Use the recommended grade and buy synthetic. Look for the API certification mark that says Energy Conserving on the back of the bottle. That label means the oil contains friction-reducing additives that aren't in the cheap, non-certified stuff. A 5-quart jug of Mobil 1 full synthetic in the right weight runs about $32 to $35 at any Walmart. Change it on time, too. Wranglers driven hard, towing, crawling trails, or sitting in heat-soaked summer traffic burn through oil faster than the manual's long life interval suggests. Every 5,000 miles for tough service, not 10,000. Forum guys learn this the hard way after their Pentastar starts burning a quart between changes. Right oil, right grade, and right schedule. 3 things, almost free, real miles per gallon back on the gauge. But fresh oil and clean fuel mean nothing if the 4 sensors hanging off your exhaust are lying to your computer about the air-fuel ratio. Number 3. The lazy oxygen sensor. Your Wrangler has 4 oxygen sensors, 2 upstream before the catalytic converters, and 2 downstream after the cats. Their entire job is sniffing the exhaust and telling the computer whether the engine is running rich or lean. When an upstream sensor goes lazy, it doesn't always trip a check engine light. It just slowly drifts, sends slower switching signals, and reads voltages that are slightly off. The computer can't tell the difference, so it makes a guess, and that guess is almost always add more fuel just to be safe. Wrangler forum owners report 2 to 4 miles per gallon losses from a single tired upstream sensor before any code shows up on the dash. 2 to 4 full miles per gallon. On a Jeep that does 18 miles per gallon, that's a 22% fuel hit from one 12-year-old part you've never thought about. Plug a basic OBD2 scanner into the port under your dash and pull live oxygen sensor readings. A healthy upstream sensor switches between roughly 0.1 and 0.9 volts about once per second at idle. If yours is sitting flat or switching slowly, that sensor is done. Replacement is the trap. The 2007 through 2018 JK Wrangler is famously sensitive to non-OEM sensors. NGK, NTK, and Denso are the only safe aftermarket brands. NTK is literally the OEM supplier for Mopar. Bosch sensors and the cheap Chinese knockoffs at the parts store will throw codes that won't clear, no matter how new they are. NTK upstream sensors run $35 to $45 each. Grab a 22mm O2 sensor socket and plan 30 minutes per side, max. But sometimes the parasitic drag killing your fuel economy isn't even hiding under the hood. It's hiding behind your wheels. Number 2. The brake drag trap. Your brake calipers float on slide pins. The pins let the caliper move freely so the pads release fully when you let off the pedal. Over time, the rubber boots on those pins crack open. Moisture sneaks in, the pins corrode, and they start binding inside the caliper. A bound slide pin keeps your brake pads in light, constant contact with the rotor, even when your foot is completely off the brake pedal. Your pads drag on the rotor every single mile you drive. You can't feel it, there's no warning light, no shake, no noise, just an engine fighting invisible friction non-stop and burning extra fuel for it. Diagnose it for $15. Buy a cheap infrared thermometer from any auto parts store. Drive the highway for 10 minutes at steady speed, then pull over and shoot the temperature of each brake rotor through the wheel spokes without touching anything. All 4 rotors should be within roughly the same range. If one rotor is running 80 to 100 degrees hotter than the others, that caliper is dragging. The fix is embarrassingly cheap. Pull the caliper, slide the pins out, wire brush the corrosion off, apply a thin coat of silicone-based brake grease like Glide, and reassemble. A tube of Glide costs $5 and lasts you years. Total parts cost for all 4 corners is about $20, including the IR thermometer. One mechanic on a Ford forum pulled a customer's truck from 13 miles per gallon back up to 16.5 miles per gallon after cleaning 2 dragging calipers. The same physics applies to your Wrangler. Off-road mud, road salt, and humidity make Jeep caliper pins corrode faster than most other vehicles, especially above 50,000 miles. But every fix on this list is invisible without one specific tool, and that tool is the cheapest item on the entire list. Number 1. The $15 scanner. This one matters more than the other 9 combined. Your Wrangler's computer runs a fuel trim correction window of plus or minus 25% before any code is set. Translation: your Jeep can be running 18% rich, dumping 18% more fuel than necessary on every drive, and your check engine light will never come on. Your dashboard tells you nothing while the truck quietly drinks gas. Buy a Bluetooth OBD2 adapter from Amazon for about $8. Pair it with the Torque Pro Android app for $5, or OBD Fusion on iPhone for similar. Total investment, $15. Plug the adapter into the OBD2 port under your dash, open the Torque Pro app, and pull live data on short-term and long-term fuel trims for both engine banks. You want both numbers within plus or minus 5%. If you're seeing 10, 12, or 15% positive trim, your computer is dumping extra fuel on top of what it should burn. That's your problem, and the number tells you which fix to do next. Negative trims mean lean operation, which is a different issue with different causes. The cause might be a dirty MAP sensor, a stuck PCV, a lazy O2, a vacuum leak, or something else entirely. Without a scanner, you'd never know which one. You just keep filling up and blaming gas prices while your Wrangler quietly wastes money. With a scanner, you've got the same diagnostic data the dealer charges $150 an hour to read. Stack 3 or 4 of these fixes on a Pentastar with 80,000 miles, and you'll easily recover 3 to 4 miles per gallon you didn't know was missing. Alright guys, that's it for today. Let me know down in the comments which one of these fuel upgrades gave you the biggest MPG improvement on your Wrangler. And if you enjoyed the video or learned something new, make sure to subscribe because we've got a lot more Jeep content coming your way. And if you want to keep watching, click the video on your screen right now. See you there.